Hello everyone, welcome back to the lab. Today we have another video that more heavily talking about Rescue Ace as a deck, as you see in the thumbnail and the title. Because today's topic is about Monitor. Rescue Ace Monitor, a card, a Rescue Ace monster that was like, I would say barely even mentioned in a lot of Rescue Ace groups, discussions, whatsoever. And it's actually something I tried last month during the YCS and other small tournaments, and I had a experience with it, and a very unique one. So, without further ado, let's look into some more specific lists that I played. This is what you see on the screen. This is the list I played in a local PS5 tournament that I won with, and that ended became the list I brought to YCS Richmond. How did I do at Richmond? Not so good. That's also why I kind of kept quiet about it afterwards. I tried to give it another chance, another shot. Uh, it ended not making to the list I currently playing, which is the one you see in like several recent deck profiles. But I like the thought process behind it, and I'm willing to share it here. Monitor as a card. Throughout the whole, I will say, the past 2 months of all the Rescue Ace discussions, usually people talk about Impulse the most. Or is Rescue Ace supposed to play 1 Impulse, 0 Impulse, 3 Impulse? And if they do play Impulse, which target of Impulse do they play between Fire Engine or Fire Attacker, or neither of them? That like has been always a big discussion throughout every single like Rescue Ace videos or topics. Monitor, on the other hand, I tried it. I played it for very specific given situation and reasons. During that time, during like prior to YCS Richmond, after YCS Indy, Rescue Ace obviously we knew it's the best deck. It was the most popular deck. So I think I want to play as many hand traps as possible. Therefore, as you see, both the current list I played and the list I played for Richmond, I didn't even bother thinking about the Richard Eddie Durando that combo, and I only played one Diabell Star. I just didn't play any of those cards to save spaces for hand traps because I think I need as much odds as I can have winning going second. This is a list with 40 cards and let me see. I think it's 13 hand traps. 6, 8, 10, 13 hand traps. And it's like about 1/3 of the deck. I I will say I was very glad I made the call of play a higher number of hand traps. That definitely won me a lot of games going second. And Monitor was just like a result of that thought. Because there's pros and cons of this card compared to Impulse. I guess we'll start with the good part. The good thing about Monitor, it's like quote unquote an impulse without an impulse target in situation I need it. Therefore, it means I can play Monitor with another one hand trap. That's also why you see this one mortar here, which was like I think these two were the impulse and then fire engine. At the time, I think negates are better in the meta against Rescue Ace Mira, so I just pump it to 7, try to play as many as I can. And Monitor, like, I only needed Impulse in one given specific situation. It was during going first post sighting in like game 2 or 3, where I wanted to search a Rescue Ace hand trap monster with my alert after I resolve turbulence. So in given situation where like evenly happens, I have another way besides emergency to put out another Rescue Ace monster on the board after taking the War Wipe. That was like the only situation I feel like I need Impulse or a Monitor, because they kind of do the same thing here in this situation. Like, if I do have a board I played, I gotta have things in the graveyard, and Monitor can just revive any of them. All I need to do is put a race monster on my board. Therefore, Monitor and Impulse does nearly the same thing here. And also another thing, because race was popular, with race was good, I expected to see a lot of hand traps as well. And therefore, that resulting in me thinking my Turbulence probably not going through a lot of time. Like, people might start knowing how to play the deck and hold their negates for the Turbulence instead of using it at the beginning. And summoning Monitor, either normal or special summon of something, can give me a trap already. This allows me to have less pressure relying on the Turbulence. If Monitor has resolved, I at least get one trap. And Turbulence, like, if Turbulence fails at that point, I still have probably like what, an SP plus a trap and maybe other hand trap. This still could be enough to win games. That was the thought process. And if both Monitor and Turbulence resolve, I will be able to have access to all 5 different kinds of race spell trap I play. Which now the Turb doesn't even have to choose which 4 out of the 5. It's, I want to say, if things goes well, it actually does have the use of it. However, there's also the cons, the bad parts. Why Monitor? That's also why Monitor ended up being cut like shortly after YCS Richmond. Uh, Monitor, the entire time I was compared to Impulse. Impulse going second, like turn 0, is a live card, where Monitor isn't. However, when I was playing Impulse, I only play 1, so I naturally just don't rely on that factor. That's why I thought it was like not that big of sacrifice for me to have. However, because the entire time I was comparing Monitor with Impulse, I ignored Fire Engine. This card turned out to be better and better the more I play the deck. I used to think this is just a brick. Now I don't. This actually is a very surprisingly good card. Obviously, with Impulse and Fire Engine going second, turn 0, this become like a somewhat quote unquote hand trap that can set up my board. But more of the time, if I raw open it, this Fire Engine as an extra body, as an extra link material, can make me do link climb that I normally couldn't. Normally, I only have enough link material for like IP or SP at most. But with this extra Fire Engine, I can actually end it on like Appaloosa with potentially Terps at 4. And that actually posing more threat in some given matchup. Because the hands I kind of do use Fire Engine, I probably raw draw a lot of race engine cards. And turning those into a bigger threat to the board, because Appaloosa has multiple negates, actually ends up making me like winning a lot more games that I wasn't expected. And also, Fire Engine by itself as a card, uh, first of all, it's big. It's a 25/25, surprisingly big enough to sit on the board. Second of all, in order to get rid of this monster with this kind of stats, usually require opponents special summoning something that will trigger Fire Engine to special summon, most likely like an airlifter to grab a follow-up spell. Just those extra, like 1 or 2 extra monster can actually just overwhelm my opponent for them to not be able to take care my other hand traps, my other back rows, or just they have to take care about these kind of cards, these non-engines, but they couldn't take care of the Fire Engine. So this is like surprisingly at the end. Recently, I just started like this card a lot more. Raw drawing also become less a problem since, like, typical way, Airlifter plus Fire Engine can prevent Airlifter being hand trapped by like Ash or something. And then as long as I'm not grabbing Emergency, I'm grabbing something else, Ash is like can be played into. Hydrant plus Fire Engine, I can just go. It will prevent the Hydrant being like used some targetable negates like Impermavailer because they have to use it on like before the Summon Fire Engine, otherwise they couldn't. But that way it makes me like they kind of burn a negate before I even activate Hydrant. So I can just like link away the Hydrant or find another way to summon Hydrant, and it was actually played into hand trap a lot better than I thought. So that's why the more I play, the more I like Fire Engine, and because the less I see Fire Engine as a brick, um, Monitor become worse and worse since Impulse become better. And uh, like Monitor, on the other hand, I think there's another specific niche that came up in Mirror Match where Hida is actually a pretty big thing in Mirror Match. Monitor is like a very good counter against Hida that came up in throughout like our mirror, like me and my friends testing for the Mirror Match. But overall, it's like that's all it does. I feel if I ever play Ring Force into my main or side, Monitor will be a lot better because it finally has another target to search, like some more okay target that you wanna search. That um, because like searching the other trap, I found out there's another blind spot. Because usually when I still resolve turbines later in that turn, my zones are occupied. So the only card I set from my hand, which at this situation, if I search the one trap already, has to be the trap I searched, which will actually expose where this one trap is, and actually could be causing some problems. If I set four through turbines, including two trap, they have a 50-50 hitting it, right? Even when I activate it, it's like a 67 to hit it blindly. But if I search one, then resolve turb, set three spells with another trap, the odds of they hitting one trap because they know which one I set from hand is 100%. So that like this slightly difference of information can cause in game, can resulting differently. That's also the awkward part I find out about Monitor as a card. But overall, I like it. I don't think this is a card that should be like blindly concluded as useless. It's a card that worth the discussion, worth even the effort trying it in some lower level tournament, and then, or I even ended up bringing it to a YCS despite it wasn't going well. I think in the in the near future, like for if the ban list does have more rescue a starter, such as like Hydrant or Airlifter or even Emergency, I can see this being played along with like Impulse and Fire Engine just to keep enough Rescue Ace monster in the deck. But for now, this is as you see now, this is my current list, and there isn't a monitor left in the deck anymore. I think this card has the potential. It's potentially better in specific given situation, like I mentioned, when I want to cut spaces. But overall, I like it. I that's like kind of one of my thought process and experience during what the entire October and November with Rescue Ace. And I kind of enjoy this like progression of learning the deck, and that's why I kind of want to share it. If you are interested, feel free to give this card a try. Feel free to tell me that or you agree or even disagreeing with me about like this card or even other cards. And if you like the video, um, share it to your friends, share it to your fellow Rescue Ace players, and let me know in the comment section. And remember to subscribe to the channel. That being said, this is today's video about Rescue Ace specifically. Hope you like it. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.